Hello, this is Lesson 10 Grammar. We will start off with what is connected to our previous lesson, which was arimasu, right? We had arimasu last time, and now we are going to emphasize the usage of arimasu, and we add imasu to the equation. Alright, so first off, we have arimasu, right? And we know that arimasu means to exist. Arimasu means to exist, right? It exists. So this sentence pattern is used to indicate the existence of presence, okay? Presence or existence or presence of a thing or things or person or persons. Now, the thing or person in such a sentence is treated as the subject. Okay, subject marked with a particle ga. If you remember in our previous lessons, we did have the particle ga to mark the noun before it, right? So this means that the noun is the subject of the sentence or the object of that particular verb, which is arimasu and wakarimasu. Now, let's talk about arimasu in this context. Alright, arimasu is used when what is present is inanimate. Okay, first thing to note here is inanimate or does not move by itself. Now we have whatever that goes under this category, right? What is it? It's things, it's plants, and it's places. They are these three things are inanimate and do not move by themselves. So we are talking about things, plants, and places. We have here, for example, コンピューターがあります. Okay, we have computer. Now, this is a computer, right? We're talking about computer. コンピューターがあります. We don't forget about the ga, which is the particle that we are using to mark the subject of the sentence, computer. And we are using arimasu. Let me use the laser here, laser pointer. We are using arimasu in this context because computer is a thing. So it lands under the category of arimasu. Next is we have sakura. Sakura or cherry trees or cherry blossoms. These are plants, right? It is a plant. So, again, we are gonna use arimasu for this one. So, sakura ga arimasu. Lastly, we have koen. Koen. Koen means park. A park is a place. Does it move by itself? Is it animate? No, it's not. It's inanimate and does not move by itself, which means we use still arimasu in this context. Alright, now let's talk about imasu. When talking about imasu, we are talking about an animate subject or a subject that moves by itself. Okay, so we are talking about what? People and animals. If you're talking about people and animals, we use imasu for this category, okay? Imasu. In contrast to things, plants, and places using arimasu, we are going to use imasu for this one. Continuing on with our samples here, we have otoko no hito. Otoko no hito means man, right? Otoko no hito, man. Otoko no hito ga imasu. Otoko no hito, man ga imasu. There is a man, imasu. Since man, otoko no hito, is a person, right? It belongs to the category of people. We are going to use imasu. The next sample we have is inu. Inu means dog, which means that it is an animal and it is animate or moves by itself. And so we use imasu still. Inu ga imasu. Alright, let's explain a little bit more on this concept, or let me summarize this concept for everyone. Alright, so we have noun ga arimasu, right? So this one applies to things, plants, or places. Alright? Arimasu. Now we also have noun ga imasu. This, on the other hand, applies to persons, or animals. Imasu. Okay? So we had, for example, computer, right? Computer. Computer is a thing. It's a thing, which means that we are going to use arimasu. Arimasu. If we're talking about onna no hito, which is woman, this is a person, right? Person. We are going to use imasu. Now, if we use these in a sentence, we just add ga after the noun, right? Based on this grammar pattern. So this becomes computer ga arimasu. Right? Computer ga arimasu. And this one becomes onna no hito ga imasu. Onna no hito ga imasu. Okay. So those are the difference, or that is the difference between arimasu and imasu. Again, arimasu is when we are talking about things, plants, or places, and imasu, we use this when we are talking about persons or animals, people or animals. All right. Moving on to our next grammar here. We add noun one place ni to the equation. So if you notice here, noun two ga arimasu or imasu is our first grammar, which is noun ga arimasu or imasu, right? In this case, we are adding the place where the noun is present. The thing, the plant, the place, the person, or the animal is present. Okay, the place where noun 2 is present is indicated by the particle ni. Now we have here watashi no heya. Watashi no heya is the place, okay? My room. Watashi, I. Watashi no, my. Let me use the laser here. Watashi, I. Watashi no, my. Heya, room. My room. Ni, in my room. Okay? Ni is the preposition of this sentence. So, preposition, when I'm talking about preposition, I'm talking about in, on, at. Okay? So, watashi no heya ni, in my room, tsukue, which means desk, tsukue ga arimasu. Now, this was what we used in the previous grammar pattern. Noun ga arimasu, right? We are talking about tsukue, the existence of tsukue. There's a desk. But if we want to add where it is, we add the place ni before the sentence, okay? At the start of the sentence. So, watashi no heya ni tsukue ga arimasu. Again, tsukue is a thing, right? Tsukue is a thing, which means we are going to use arimasu in this sentence. Watashi no heya ni tsukue ga arimasu. All right. The next is when we are using imasu, of course. We have here 事務所. 事務所 means the office. 事務所に in the office ミラーさんがいます. Again, Miller, Mr. Miller is in. Okay, there is Mr. Miller. Where? In the office. So 事務所にミラーさんがいます. So that is how you would add the place where the noun is present that we are talking about. So place ni noun ga arimasu or imasu. Now moving on to the next one, which is the same pattern, okay? But we are asking a question, okay? You can ask what or who is present at or in the place by using this pattern. Noun place ni noun to ga arimasu or imasu. But instead of noun to, okay, we use nani, which is what, and or dare, which is who, and then we add ka at the end of the sentence. So the first sample we have here is chika ni, in the basement, nani ga, what is, arimasu ka, what is there in the basement? Chika ni nani ga arimasu ka? Okay. Chika ni nani ga arimasu ka? Okay. Instead of the noun here, in place of the noun, we are using nani for what. Okay. In this place, what is there? Another example is for imasu. Okay. Uketsuke ni dare ga imasu ka? Uketsuke ni dare ga imasu ka? Who is at the reception desk? Let me just summarize things for everyone here. Okay, go back to our paint. So we have place, right? Noun 1, which is the place, marked by ni. And then we have noun 2, ga arimasu or imasu. Again, the rule applies, the same rule applies, right? This is for things, plants, places. Meanwhile, this is for people, animals. Okay. And then the place here is marked by the particle ni in order to show that this noun, noun 2, is present in this place. Okay, so we had 私の部屋に、私の部屋に. Okay, so if you see here, 私の部屋 is the place, and then the place is marked by ni. Okay, and then we have 机 as in desk. This is noun 2. And then が 机 desk is a thing, so we are going to use あります. Okay, in my room, 私の部屋に there is a desk. 机があります. We also had 事務所. 事務所. Okay, this is the place. に ミラーさん ga, and since Miller-san, Mr. Miller, okay, Mira-san is a person, we are going to use imasu. Imasu. Okay? So, again, the same rules apply for arimasu and imasu. We have to be careful with that. And then, place is marked with ni in order for us to tell that this noun, okay, noun 2, is present in this place. And when we ask a question, we use this very same pattern, except that instead of noun 2, we use dare or nani. So to summarize things, okay, noun 1, place, ni, nani ga arimasu. Of course, we don't forget about ka at the end. And then noun 1, place, ni, dare ga imasu. And then we don't forget about the ka. Okay? So the point here to note is that we use interrogatives. So the pairing is nani or what plus arimasu. Arimasu, right? And then we have dare, who, plus imasu. Okay? So nani, what, plus arimasu, and dare, who, plus imasu. We use this in an example, okay? We can use this sentence that we have here earlier. Watashi no heya ni, okay, place ni, nani ga arimasu ka? Watashi no heya ni nani ga arimasu ka? Okay? And then our second one is jimusho, right? Jimusho. Jimusho ni dare. Sorry. Dare ga imasu ka? Okay? So we have those. This is the second grammar point that we have. Well, and the third, including the asking questions. So noun 1, place, okay, ni. Noun 2 ga arimasu or imasu. And the pairing is nani plus arimasu ka and dare plus imasu ka. Okay, again, arimasu is for things, plants, or places, and imasu is for people or animals. So that is our second grammar of this lesson. Now we go on to the third one. Okay, the third one is basically this is just the other way around. We are talking about noun wa noun 2 ni arimasu or imasu. This is fundamentally the same, but in this sentence pattern, the speaker picks up noun 1 as the topic instead. Okay, we are kind of explicitly stating that noun 1 here is the topic of the sentence. We are talking about noun 1. And then we explain where it is. So the topic should be something or someone that both the speaker and the listener know about. The particular or the particle attached to N1 or noun 1 is not ga, which marks the subject, but wa, which marks the topic, okay? Not ga, but wa, which marks the topic of the sentence, okay? For example, here we have Tokyo Disneyland wa Chiba-ken ni arimasu. So Tokyo Disneyland. It is understood that both the speaker and the listener know about Tokyo Disneyland, right? Tokyo Disneyland wa, okay, this is the topic of the sentence, wa Chiba-ken ni arimasu. Is in Chiba Prefecture, okay? So Tokyo Disneyland wa Chiba-ken ni arimasu. Now if we're talking about people, Mira-san wa, okay, Mira-san wa jimusho ni imasu. If you notice here, the sentence pattern is fundamentally the same thing as this one. If we were to convert this sentence to the third grammar that we have, instead of watashi no heya ni tsukue ga arimasu, we want to emphasize that we're talking about tsukue, the desk. So, tsukue wa watashi no heya ni arimasu. Okay? Let me write it down so that it's clearer for everyone too, and it's easier to understand. We have noun 1, which is the topic of the sentence, and so we mark it with wa. Okay, topic. And then we have noun 2, ni, arimasu, or imasu. Of course, the same rules apply. Arimasu is for things, plants, and places, right? And imasu is for people or animals. All right, so we go on and use the sentence we had, which was watashi no heya ni. I don't know why I don't. Watashi no heya ni, okay, tsukue ga arimasu. Now, if we look at this is noun 1, place, ni, noun 2, ga arimasu, right? But if we want to convert this into this, if we are wanting to emphasize tsukue or desk as topic, we use tsukue first. Okay, tsukue first. We mark it with wa. Okay, tsukue wa. And then the place where it is present, watashi no heya. And then the same particle that we use to mark the place, ni, arimasu. Okay? Noun 1. Noun 2, place. Okay? Wa, ni. There is no ga in the sentence because ga is for when we are having a subject. But because we picked out tsukue, noun 2, from the other sentence as the topic of the sentence and not just the subject of the verb arimasu, then we are going to mark it with wa instead of ga. Now, if we're talking about a person, what we had earlier was jimusho. Jimusho ni minasan ga imasu, right? Now we transform this. We are going to pick out this as the topic, mirasan. We are going to talk about mirasan. So, mirasan, again, we mark it with wa, and then the place, jimusho. Jimusho ni imasu. This is noun 1, marked with wa because it is the topic of the sentence. This is the place, noun 2, place. Of course, we mark it with ni, and then we add the verb, which means present, so imasu. Okay, so that is noun 1 wa, noun 2, place, ni, arimasu, or imasu. I hope that was a clear enough explanation. Now we move on to the next one, which is asking where noun 1 is. So when you're asking where noun 1 is, the topic of the sentence, right? This sentence pattern is used, the same sentence pattern, but instead of noun 2 for the place, we use doko, which is an interrogative meaning where. Okay, let's go back to our drawing board here. Okay, we had noun 1, wa, noun 2, place, ni, arimasu or imasu. Okay? Asking questions. If we want to ask questions as to where this is, instead of noun to here, we replace it with doko, which means where. So in our sample sentence, we had tsukue, right, as the noun. Tsukue, the first noun, which means desk. Tsukue wa, instead of watashi no heya ni arimasu, we use doko. Doko ni arimasu ka? Okay, doko ni arimasu ka? Tsukue wa doko ni arimasu ka? This is just basically, instead of putting a specific place for noun 2, we are putting doko in its place. Doko. Okay? Second, we are talking about Mira-san, right? Mira-san wa, again, doko ni, because Mira-san is a person, we use imasu ka. Okay? Mira-san is noun 1 and doko is our interrogative. Right, so that is how you ask questions. Basically, you will just what you're asking for, okay? What you're asking for is what you replace the interrogative with. For example, in our previous one, we're asking about what is in this place or who is in this place. So instead of the thing or the person for the subject of the verb, we use the interrogatives who and what. And in this case, we are asking where a particular thing or a particular person is. So we are going to replace the place with doko, which is where. Alright, I hope that was clear enough. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can post it in the comments or you can post it in the discussion of our Google Classroom for my students, that is. Alright. There is a note here, right? There is a note here. This is sometimes used to replace a verb predicate when the predicate is obvious. When we are clear on the topic or on the sense that it is obvious that the predicate is talking about a place, we don't have to use ni arimasu, but instead we can use this. This is a sentence pattern that we should be familiar with, especially since this is one of the previous lessons that we had. So now instead of noun 1 wa noun 2 ni arimasu or noun 2 ni imasu, we say noun 1 wa noun 2 desu. Because this is understood that you're talking about a place and you're talking about the presence of a thing in that place. For example, we have here Tokyo Disneyland wa doko ni arimasu ka? Tokyo Disneyland wa doko ni arimasu ka? If this also applies to this. If we are clear that we are talking about where something is, or we are asking where something is, you can say Tokyo Disneyland wa doko desu ka instead of Tokyo Disneyland wa doko ni arimasu ka. Okay, to make it simpler. Instead of doko ni arimasu ka, you say doko desu ka. Okay, and in answering this, you could say Chiba-ken ni arimasu, Chiba-ken ni arimasu, or Chiba-ken desu. Because it is obvious and we are aware that we are talking about the presence of Tokyo Disneyland and we are talking about where it is. Another example is Mira-san wa doko ni imasu ka? Where is Mr. Miller? Mira-san wa doko ni imasu ka? Jimusho ni imasu. Or Mira-san wa doko desu ka? Instead of doko ni imasu ka, And then you can answer with 事務所です. So instead of にあります or にいます, you can use this only if it is obvious that you're talking about where the presence of something is. Alright, moving on to our fourth grammar of the day, we have here a list of nouns denoting position. Okay, so if you watch here, if you see here, we have different nouns. And these are nouns denoting position, or they mean a position of something. So this one is ue, which means above, right? Above. And then we have sta, which is below. And we have mae, which means in front of. In front, and ushiro, at the back. Of course, it is understand that mae could mean behind, before you, like in front, before. And ushiro at the back can also mean behind. Okay? We also have migi. Migi means right. And hidari means left. Naka means inside. And soto means outside. Okay? And then we have tonari, which is beside or next to. And chikaku means close by. And aida means between. Okay, so these are nouns that are denoting position that you can use for this particular grammar pattern. So we have here noun 1, which is a thing, a person, or place. No, if we are to remember what the usage of no is, it could mean ownership, it could mean of, it could mean that you are part of something, or it could mean made in, it could mean made by this company, and so on and so forth. And in this case, it means of. Okay? So for example here, let's go. 机の上に写真があります. 机の上. Okay, we focus on this part of the sentence here. The 机の上. Okay, so the thing here, or the noun 1 here is 机, right? We are talking about 机. No, 上, which means above the desk or on the desk. 机の上. Okay, 机の上に写真があります. Of course, since this is a place, right? This whole chunk of this sentence means a place, like where something is. We mark it with ni as usual. Okay, 机の上に something, something, something. Okay, we also have 郵便局は銀行の隣. 銀行の隣. Again, we are only focusing on this part of the sentence. So 銀行 means bank. No, 隣. So next to the bank. Right? Next to the bank. Now, if we were to use these other things, okay? So for noun 1 here, we use 机. Okay? 机の上. So on the desk. We could also say 机の右, to the right of the desk. 机の隣, beside the desk or next to the desk. 机の下, below the desk or under the desk. 机の左, to the left of the desk. 机の近く, close by the desk. Okay, close to the desk. 机の前 in front of the desk. 机の中 inside the desk. 机の間 this could be between two things. Okay, 机と椅子の間. For example, okay, that's an example. 机と椅子. If you remember と which is part of our previous lessons as well. To means and. So in the between tsukue and isu, okay, we are aware that tsukue means desk and isu means chair. Tsukue to isu no aida. And then we also have tsukue no ushiro, behind the desk, and tsukue no soto. Well, maybe we can't use this here, but you can use watashi no heya no soto, outside my room. Heya no soto, outside the room. So that is how you use noun 1, thing, person, or place. No, position. We have here a note, okay, as these are place nouns, not only ni, but also particles like de can come after them. Again, I did mention earlier that these are this whole thing is a place, is the place, a noun that denotes place. And de, if you have seen the previous lessons, de is used as a marker for the place where a verb is performed. So for example, 駅の近くで友達に会いました. I met a friend. 友達に会いました. Where? 駅の近くで, near the station. Okay? So that is in a different lesson, so I won't dive into that. But you can also use de, not only ni, which denotes the position of something, right? Where something is. De is where something is performed, or where a verb is performed, like a method or a place. Okay? So moving on to our last grammar for this lesson, we have ya. Okay? Nouns are connected in coordinate relation by the particle ya, while to, which is what I mentioned earlier, to, while to enumerates all the items, ya shows a few representative items. Sometimes, not all the time, nado is put after the last noun to explicitly express that there are also some other things of the kind. For example, 箱の中に inside the box. Okay, inside the box, in the box. 箱 means box. No naka. This is the previous grammar that we have in noun 1. No, position. Okay, 箱の中に. Okay, inside, in the box. 手紙 letters. 手紙や写真があります。手紙や写真があります。Now, 手紙 means letters or a letter. や写真 pictures があります。So to translate this in English, it means there are letters, pictures, and so on in the box. But the and so on is kind of inferred in this situation, in this case. It's not explicitly said that there are other things in the box as well, because we're just listing off things that we can find in the box. It could mean that there are other things in the box. It also could mean that there are only letters and pictures in the box. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, in our next sentence example here, 箱の中に手紙や写真などがあります. Now we added など, which means, like I said earlier, or as said in the description, it is put after the last noun to explicitly express that there are also some other things of the kind. Okay, so we are putting emphasis on and so on, which means we are explicitly stating that there are other things in the box aside from letters and pictures. So 箱の中に手紙や写真などがあります. Okay, so that is ya. You're basically listing or expressing listing representatives of something, or a few representative items. If I were to choose a different sample, we could say, bento no naka ni, inside my bento box. Bento, it is the lunch box, Japanese lunch box. Gohan ya, there's rice. What else could be on? Kare ga arimasu. Inside, there is rice and curry in my bento box. Bento no naka ni gohan ya kare ga arimasu. Okay, there is rice, curry, and maybe something else in my bento box. Now, if I put nado there, bento no naka ni gohan ya kare nado ga arimasu. So there is rice, curry, and so on, and other things in my bento box. So it's basically just listing samples of the things that exist in something, in a place. I hope that is clear. If you have any other questions, clarifications, make sure to add it in the comments, or reach out to me, or post it in the discussion in our Google Classroom for my students. That is lesson 10. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you had some learnings during this video. I'll see you in the next one.